waaw. Tagliela berrone. Tagliela berrone. Ku ne nga mën a wax. Nga nekk ak génnis. Ah, ñaari la. Ah, léegi. Doo yem boobu naa ko. Waaw, waaw.
documentary. If March 7 you are getting us, we're just waiting for your signal to kickstart. Well, once again, if you are just joining us, special thanks to all of you watching and listening to the Gambia Radio and Television services. As alluded earlier on, we are here at the National Assembly coming to you live. Today, Thursday, June 19, 2025, His Excellency the President Adama Barrow is expected to come to the National Assembly to deliver the much anticipated 2025 State of the Nation address in accordance with Section 77(1) of the 1997 Constitution. Well, it is a constitutional obligation that allows the head of state to update lawmakers and the public on the conditions of the country, his government's policy direction, and legislative agenda. The President, any moment, will arrive here at the National Assembly, and the 2025 State of the Nation address comes amid heightened public interest in key national issues, including the economy, youth employment, healthcare, education, transitional justice, and constitutional reforms, among other things. Well, the President is also expected to highlight some of his government's programs and priorities, and what he has also for Gambians in store. Well, at this moment, I have my colleagues with me. I am Tijan Jani, and I have Falilu ML Janko that will take us through for the benefit of our Mandinka language listeners. And we have Mr. Nuha Baji for Jola, Sidiba for our Fula language listeners, and Haji Sumundu for our Sarahule people. Well, Janko kuol belaring wala nyama nyintembo lam fele ka banko nyaton kole batu drong anda aseke no watu wati waran tumo tuma do minute 1 minute ase dunnanno ate député bungoto.
Abaraka baki Tijan Jane bari jibe lalu ko ali amoy Tijan na nyame angale kangoto ngali be kontongal to nal kontongol la miribe jibe kam banko kanjang miribe soto kam banko e bantala miribe soto kan television oto miribe soto kan Grts television la Facebook page to miribe soto kan radio to ngali be kontong kali bismillah nying coverage to wala mo nyinte nying kerkelo mi yalon ko ngole kali bi kabali banko député bungoto le kafuda men national assembly mimbe banko la capital o kono Banjul mimbe kerindrong wolum the state of the nation address ti mi yalon ko president wala ka ke banko député bungoto e nyinanta wala mo biti ñi ñom bengolu nga mulunta ñolu ni sotta banko la ñi ñom bengolu jiates bugatu commence ko radio Gambia bi ni ngal yaje drong commentary be kafru ñomale radio and television o alben sotoka ñolale alba moy ka radio ñamen abe itaka wala ñama television to andung fana be itaka wala ñama Facebook o kamala ka kondondiro kanu fanundi gambian ko be dawda jibe labe dawda be ben min to bari ngol ko ngafale nyamen doron wala mo state of the nation address ti nyim musa wasan kudati andum banko tamandre kam mi constitution oti wala kanin tun ko munyinti president kana ko kanin tun ko nyin kawletim mandi abe wol kono akata dialogue fananti député la do koto mi yalan ko wala mu new parliamentary session ti ni be si ila bengol sotla mi yalan ko ka dialogue kutati ila bengol yen hani be doron badi ngolu nyin kake manta benti banko nyaton ko si banko mulu kalamtandi fanko tembedlo ala politiko tembedlo anin na tara nyalu anin man sakunda be katakol min na pour ka yiri wanati banko kan hani be doron ka itandiri fanake ferol mi yalon ko wolle tamandi yiri wa kolto mi yalon ko man sakunda wolle ke banko kanjang nyinan sangola fo janning sango nyimbe kum fala hani bi doron ko nying aka ita television o sawo sang ani radio to ani fana kata online jolto mbe kuma kawol kono fana ndulaliye nkadung kacha kono nyamen doron kilenti jang ko tijan ya fo nyamen da la diamu lo jam fandila bawo diamu lal bijang banko kangolu albe mola beto le kon dalta kala nyamen benta moment on jikita ko president of takang tijan vice president of takako manto janni wobe kala doron wala wo kerung kola do mon dindron nga speaker of the national assembly wala mu honorable fabakato mon jatati ngaje ya bismillah god of honor député wol belo ta ya bismillah janni wobe kala deputy speaker wala mu sidin jayti afana futata ya bismillah hono monim bunya ko ne ka fume god of honor yo kaye sojarol bijang badi ngolu ami ban nyulu kadal takela nyamin banko la ballero be finjala karo bela benta mo min do president wala futakang mbe ko mo lo jang nga ko mo totu siri bada wala tijan suru akanto janni be futa siri ma bismillah.
Well, thank you very much, Falilu ML Janko. Well, at this moment, the occupant of Marina Parade number 1, His Excellency President Adama Barrow, has arrived at the National Assembly grounds. And he will be received by dignitaries, among them the Speaker of the National Assembly, and of course the Vice President has arrived earlier on. Cabinet ministers, members of parliament, members of the diplomatic and consular corps, government officials, we are all seated, and at this moment they are all lined up at the gate of the National Assembly, as you are seeing on your screen, waiting to welcome his president, who has alighted from his vehicle. And the president now will observe the usual tradition of shaking hands with the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, and of course some of the employees of the National Assembly. Well, at this moment, that is what is happening. Bokk yi déglu jiates ñu ngi am bégte gannaaw bi ñu leen joxee seeni wàccuwaay ndax tey ci bési alxamis bi nii weeri juin fukki fan ak juróom-ñeent ñu ngi fii ci néegi député yi. ki nga xam ne nag moom mooy njiiti réew mi jamono jii ñoo wax ak yéen agsi na ci néegi député yi te fi mu nekk nii mu ngi saafuwante ak ñi nga xamante ne nag ñoom ñooy kilifa yi bokk na ci ki nga xam ne nag moom mooy the Speaker of the National Assembly, Deputy Speaker ak yeneen kilifa yi nga xam ne ñoom ñoo ko tertu woon ci bunti néegi député yi jamono ji moom njiiti réew mi mu nga utali ji fi nga xam ne mooy ci biir fii nga xam ne nag moom mooy ci ëtt lii di National Assembly bi xam naa dafay dem rek pour def li nga xam ne moom mooy saafu wante waaye tamit jël lii di national anthem mooy bàkki réew mi loolu bu ci jógee rek dina ñëw dugga fi nga xamante ne moom mooy ci biir néegi député yi ci kanam tuuti ñu indiwaat yeneen leeral kon mbokk yi nii la mbir yi tëddee fii. kon nag loolu moom mooy bàkki réew mi di national anthem léegi nag moom njiiti réew mi dina joxe ndigal soldaar yi ngeen gis noonu ñuy dem pour sàkku ndigal ci moom nga xam ne ñoom soldaar yi bu boobaa dinañ mën a wéyal benn ci pàcc liggéey yi nga xam ne ñu ngi koy def dinañu dar njiiti réew mi mu dem def inspection dem neemeeku wante ak ñi nga xam ne ñooy takk der yi nekk fii ci néegi député yi bu weesoo foofu nag dina dem dugga nag fi nga xam ne moom mooy ci biir a néegi député yi ci gàttal rek ñu fàttali leen ne li nga xam ne moom mooy loi réew mi de constitution bi dafa ñaax njiiti réew mi même bu dee benn yoon ci at mi dina dem ci néegi député yi waxtaan ak ñoom ci yenn tëralin ak liggéey bi nga xam ne nguuram ñu ngi ko doon def ci atum 2024 naam ci 2025 la ko gaaral waaye ci atum 2024 liggéey bi nga xam ne nguuram def nañu ko ci ay programme ci ay projets ci yokkute yi nga xam ne moom moo am ci fànn yëpp li ko dooree ci koom-koom bi ci bunti wér-gu-yaram gi ci bunti njàng mi kaaraange gi bi ci wàllum li nga xam ne mooy courant yeeg yoon yeeg ak lépp loo xamante ne daal nguuram liggéey na ci tey dina ñëwaat wax waa réew mi liggéey nguuram bi fu mu toll kon jamono ji nag mu ngi nemmeeku ñi nga xam ne ñooy takkadeer yi kon Sidi Ba fu mu nekk nii ci gàttal rek fii la mbir yi toll di nuyu nag Nuha Badji ak kii di Hadji Sumbundu ñoom ñëpp ñu ngi fii ci jotaay gi.
a jarama Tidiane Diané Falilou Emel Dianko musidal yimɓe Gambia min calmini on ɗo Gambia radio et télévision services ɗo suudu men député ji ɗi woni national assembly ɗo Saare Banjul hande alkemes o e nduɗo lewru june balɗe mayru 19 ko hande his excellency président bo republic of the Gambia Adama Barrow fundata tan o ara o haalna yimɓe leydi ɓe ko abbiti rek e sengo no laamu ngu liggori nde ɗo hitande yawtude président his excellency Mohamed Bes Diallo yiɗi tan yettade kumande o yetti député speaker o Sidi Ndiaye on jaɓɓino ɗum e minitali seeɗa yesso seeɗa rek président his excellency Adama Barrow kam no yettima o yetti ko noon speaker o woni yeesojo suudu men député Bakary Tom mo Diadam kam yimɓe liggo tawi suudu men député ji ɗi ko ɓen noon jaɓɓi ɗum e waktu noon o yettima ha o yimanama jimol men leydi ngol woni national anthem o salmodiri e wonɓe ɗo suudu men député woni député ji ɗi joni woni tan salmodirde moɓe tan tottodira juuɗe goto e goto e mumen député ji ɗi on tuma noon o natata suudu men député ji ɗi o haalana yimɓe leydi ɓe ko abbiti e programme ji laamum ngu yo he sartaji laamum ngu yo he projet aji laamum ngu liggi ko e ɗiɗo duuɓi tati jawtuɗi walla duuɓi nayyi jawtuɗi ila e sengo jangre nde ha e sengo ndema ha e sengo cellal ha e sengo courant o ha e sengo awo ngo ha e dame kewɗe e laamu ngu liggi ministre ji ɗi ɗin ɗon programme ji mum foof yo projet aji ɗi o haalana yimɓe leydi ɓe ɓamtare heɓade hen yo caɗele keɓaɗe hen yo ko heɗiti ko he manda mum e programme ji ɗi ɓe garta tan wadde yo projet aji ɓe garta tan liggade ɗum fof haalana yimɓe leydi ɓe ɗum ɗon woni rek ko waɗi président no loi men no yamiri pour hitan foof hitan président foti tan arga ko suudu men député ji ɗi o haalana yimɓe e leydi ɓe ko ɗum o woni tan timminde e on ɗon loi men leydi o waktu noon président o yettima joni mo rek noon salmodira e député ji ɗi goto e goto e mumen on tuma noon o naata toon to suudu men député ji ɗo suudu député ji noon ɗo heeɓi teb guila e député ji ɗi ha liggotoɓe e laamu ha yimɓe woɓɓe joni ɓe leyda mumen leydi ɗo ha liggotoɓe e sengo danduru ndu ha yimɓe hewɓe ummorɓe he laamuli tokosi hen yo tottireɓe kibaruji ɗi foof agaga kene o foof noon na heewi teb noon yo ɓe liggotoɓe e danduru ɗo ko ɗum noon on waktu ɗon wona ɗo mbiɗa andi on tuma président o haalat ko heewi noon ko abbiti e sengo ɗin ɗon programme ji o projet aji yo sartaji laamu ngu foof caɗele ɗe ɓe keeɓi e ɗiɗo duuɓi jawtuɗi yo ɓamtare heɓade hen yo no ɓe liggorta ko hedditi ko he hitande aroyande nde he laamu mumen nde noon min andi tan ɗo min tolni taw ha yeeso seeɗa min jaƴƴina toon ko woni ko hewde ɗo e suudu men député ji gila sengo radio yo e télé naccinoɗo e nuwa baji o kamne o haalna musidal joolaɓe e ko woni hewde ɗo suudu men député oɗo waktu tumarek de président o ari ha joni mbo salmodira député ji ɗi so pari rek o natata suudu men député ji ɗi on tuma si suudu yeesoji député ji ɗi honorable Fabakary Tombou Diarra si udditi rek e yewtere nde ko on tuma his excellency président Adama Barrow so caggal nde duwa ha paari o arano haala yimɓe leydi ɓe e hande ɗeɗo ñalade oɗo suudu men député ji ɗi nuwa bisimilla
invité kati Sidi Ba ko boka safi o fanfan tate de bul misabe ko député ko bal manje bobi tate banjol tan kono me National Assembly nu jawlo jaw be ngaru wano sano manje wonni ka bajo tate jaat nan manje president Adama Barrow na jawlo jaw pour be ko wombul def naka fon manje foko naka fon manje be wa manje wayno mi the state opening of parliament yan manje ko emiti yano sani watawe erinjat na jeew yow tate man angon na rek mo famu si programme se man sakunda e bajumi wanko to mi brokabu warnomi di neufle yan manje o koten ka dépense ko di brokabe ti mo famu dula yano sani e froka fe man sakunda brokabu de jali yo fukule panajo man angon na mi amange bo kana ko tout bu brokabu ci la bonde jaw waw dasa wa warno beneni wo tu kankan wahan manje wayno mi funak fu ci la fu japa sankin tout bayto walata be karnen di boroko bucila ubu woto menirego meno almanjo wari be nomi Mamadou S Diallo nari lorin tata ko ministre tout ko ngas junguta soli ko ambassadeur ko kan manjo ko mo famo katalon ko ko tate tanoma ya ombude ka safo di ko diptere ko di fukileti ani fana ko bulim ko diptere honorable Fabakary Tombou Diarra deputy speaker honorable Sidi SK Ndiaye opo omto di manana jume anno sani ko bo kay bore kangena ko bo ka safore tu manku ngolen ko joku bu mukana monde jaw tate eno oto kanka won manjo boji fukaw jaat man emide jaay eno di assembly yeti Gambia dere jaat woto woli ko bo ka safu tu katon be koyna wono sonom de jaay dere panu ngon umangenu the state opening of the parliament or National Assembly yan manje president Adama Barrow wate bejo mana sankis programmation ku nenumi broka banaro ku man sakunda yola waaw urino e won ko tumbe broka bisimita satu be jole wara mulenga matumbe bugelo fokule to panangon na yisendi Gambia bukana kimo fete Gambia manku ngolen ku may le tukana wano sani haji sumbundu panangon na uringena man opopajuk haji sumbundu jo munu ngonu rek ku pale ku sarakule man ku ngolen ku may waawande jaw tate di Assembly National yeti Gambia yanu manje president Barrow omitate haji
nuwari siri mare mo wadna gadangani a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim bismillahir rahmanir rahim Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala nyaga awna loke kota de jamdo khairi no gonna mo jamdo khairi ni o duwaga Allah gando la karanjuro no mo gonde me khairi shurunga kaga to be sasa kundu oga nokobe Kenya député kompenga National Assembly Kenya ni kota yi angat nanti kebe ganya jamangume Kenya ni excellency president of the Republic of the Gambia agarni digamu jamani ndangani birambe hibe gati na burum fanna ngaro gollube nu ga dabari ado gollube nu ga hero no ondi ga pare na sabariti yiru wanta gollunga jamana nyimmanke Kenya ni excellency president Adama Barrow awarni kalimanu kini sasa kundu ahaki nyati député kompenga sarbi hina Kenya na batte manga vice president kendo cabinet ministre no jamangu nyi mi hari sasa kundu ado kebe gara gemundi Kenya ni speaker nga ti député kompenga Kenya ni Alhaji Fabakary Tombou Diarra kendo honorable Sidi Ndiaye nende wara ti député tan kunya ndege mundi ke akati ado kitikinne nyame do picco wute ti nokobe gani National Assembly ground ke ti banjundo rakenga ken no no gara kona kana halle ni mobe o do gol nyalle mo ngado me o be no gayre kenya ni o do imman ko tananu na mbuguti jamane ke television ka ore kenga ni Gambia radio nda television kanga kenga Grts selebe ga ko falelo ML Janko nana kingara Alhaji Tijan Jan Sidi Ba no ha baji nan kaynin ke mi haji subuno en garangati député ko be National Assembly jamangu me ngari la ngani mo beta agana kinye bilambe magara yala ngende barti tangande choron pon la ken choronga agara yala ngende bar ko ngiri ko ngani kembire agari na liknye député nunga ke hakati ado kunya me kunyini do na pichongu kaga tumo be kengana dangita magaro no gondi kembire ana kalimanu kini ngam de jibe gargati gollube no iga parini sabatindi do hero be no ga dome angat men ti daga kaninga kaga tumo be onan ciage halle sina dangin do koy sinesu moga tawe ke budget speech no gondi angam no jamangu nga state of nation address ma ona de state of nation address ke aga ke de barni sinesu moga tawa no gondi o tawe nga no gondi a wana tam bolla ko konno kengani tutwa gum fanna ado takande haram paru angat nanti killu kara komputago kara kombo be no angat nanti gamun na hancabuno iga nyana office ndingra no office holla ko be no kakkarno mun na bo ko nan cabuno jamanu wadni o gana hay ado kundi gan kalimanu be no ga nyikini hallendi kami gana tanka be pasen dinjo a golli ken kamma fi gana gollu be no angat nanti jamane nga sugulya hibenu ga jamane nyana jamane nga soronga katna atunu jamanu no gondi nanya nambancane nga figana His Excellency President of the Republic of the Gambia ada golli gabe dabari ken no gonni tiku unkara no parce que angana hay fi gabe ndabari hibe ga gati tagan dem pinuwa fi gabe ndabari angana ndibe ga kili tagonga anya foye angana ndi sababu nga agada jamane kesu Gambia ni jama mucinai angana safari jama palle angana jama tanu wari andan Gambia ni jama mucinai bari Gambia kani jamane angat nanti ku jama manu be nga develop na kotoy kenni economy ke mo gonya da because photo na wono hibe gani purtinga iga katni du munana baka bari fofon do kuma gare bari awra man technique na tunga nyu sobe nga tunga nyu kalasinte ke be katnu gollini na hak atrai higa katnu sabu no mo be ti wakilo en karanga ado gollundo daga kanu ken no gondo watno ora ken gida jamango mebe go ma ken His Excellency President Adama Barrow ada ferol ni sono le papendi gode gani ga jamane ke magada godo hilya na killu bari angam nan killu be no godo tokki me daga nan lindo yuro en patnu nan no daga ni wagiri ken gadi ari takan ni tono dabari angam non hibe gani office ndinga ni wuni na dingira no gadi develop courant pirum fanna yonkin cha hanga tuwa fanna ra kunchu yurwani anna kunya gangun jamane kenya jamane de kani kada wato o microphone ke pasino gida ke ngana Alhaji Tijan Jan ke hakati His Excellency President Adama Barrow ado député compensoro ke National Assembly membanuko ade photo session ye gadni picture be wutu ke no ga hibe de barni tang way microphone ke pasini Alhaji Tijan Jan o wara ko na garamo be ado Sidi Ba no habaji kendo ML Janko ke ngani senator way na garangati banjun dogol nyande mun ko to ko no gadi studio ke T-Mile 7 studio nga kendo GRTS be gati MDI kille goron no gondi odo o sudiki tankidi me birambe ke kota ka katnu nyana kota e serebe nuga ma sellanu jamanu e katnu fami ki tamane kan terni jamanu no gondi jamangu men mani kalimanu kini mane gani fero nga ngadandi ka pare ni sabatindi sinarin ton no gondi ti Gambia ren kunne ken no gondi kempi ci hakade ganyame o microphone ke pasni Alhaji Tijan Jan.
Obrigado, Haji Sumbundu. Thank you very much. At this moment, His Excellency is being escorted to the National Assembly chambers, where he will deliver the much anticipated 2025 State of the Nation address. And if we go back a memory lane, this is an important moment in the academic calendar, and as a result, Gambians home and abroad will be keenly following the developments here at the National Assembly, where His Excellency is expected to provide clarity on government priorities and programs on flagship, or rather on progress on flagship programs, while setting the tone for legislative engagement during the second ordinary session of the year. Well, we also expected to hear from the number one of the country, highlights of his government expenditure, fiscal discipline, and development strategies as the country prepares for future elections and continues post-pandemic recovery efforts. And so far so good. That is how events is unfolding here at the National Assembly. kon mbokk yi dafa mel ni fi mu nekk nii njiiti réew mi maanaam gunge nañu ko ba nga xam ne dugg na fii di ci biir néegi député yi fi nga xam ne mooy ci National Assembly Chambers mooy salle bu mag boobu te foofu la njiiti réew mi di gaaral li nga xamante ne nag mooy waxtaan bi mu nar a séq ak député yi séq ko ak ñii di doomi réew mi. State of the Nation address nag boo ko déggee ndax loi dafa sas njiiti réew mi ne même bu fekkee benn yoon la ci at bi war naa ñëw ci néegi député yi indi ay leeral comme ni ma ko waxee ci atum 2024 lan la nguur gi liggéey moo xam ci fànn koom-koom bi ci bunti mbéy mi bunti njàng mi ci wàllum wérgu yaram gi ci mbiri àtte fii ci biir réew mi ci yenn liggéey yi nga xamante ne nag def nañu ko moo xam ci yoon yi ci courant yi loolu yëpp njiiti réew mi dina ci indi li nga xamante ne moom la nguuram def waaye du ñàkk yi tamit li nga xam ne mooy jafe-jafe yi boobu yi tamit dina ci indi leeral ak yan pexe ak i tëralin la nguuram di jël ngir mun a saafaral yenn ci jafe-jafe yooyu noonu kon jamono ji ñi nga xamante ne nag ñooy kilifa yi ngànka nguur gi ñoom ñëpp ñu ngi toog bokk na ci vice président cabinet ministers député yi ñoom ñëpp ñu ngi toog ki ñooy xaar rek mooy borom bés bi ki ñooy xaar mooy njiiti réew mi ne bu duggee rek dinañu door li nga xamante ne nag mooy déglu ko ay kàddu yi nga xamante moom la muy bam ndax tey fu doomi réew mi nekk moo xam ci biir réew mi ci biti réew ñoom ñëpp seeni noppa mu ngi fii ci néegi député yi di xaar lan la njiiti bi réew bi di wax lu jëmee ci nag yenn coppite yoo xam ne def na ko ci wàllum li nga xam ne mooy koom-koom coppite yoo xam ne def na ko ci li nga xam ne mooy tërali ni lii di alali réew mi waaye tamit jéego yi nga xam ne jël na ko ci wàllum kaaraange gi jël na ko tamit ci li nga xam ne mooy saxal jàmm fii ci biir réew mi lii yëpp ak yeneen yoo xamante ne fu mu nekk nii moom la ñuy déglu waaye ren lu nguur gi doxee maanaam ci atum 2024 tey loolu la président bi di indi ay leeral Falilu Janko kuwol be laarin wala ñaama ñin tembool
abarka bake Tidiane Diané baɗigol kote kede ɗon kala hakkilo bulande ko alɓe GRTS radio le lamoy kan andon alɓe GRTS télévision no juuɓe kan moɓen soto kan dawɗa ɗon kala hakkilo bulandi ko mbe State of the Nation address ɓemo mbe woleto banko député mo mbato banjul sato kono kala kala mde ñamen ɗon président ko fotata kabira fotata banko député wolu be ya kilin kontong e ninga ye natal womu tata ko wolati mi yalon ko wolakake ñim ɓe naɓe kere ɗon nin président ko fotata nen gaɗo ono ketaade doron wala nin sojarole buña julo maye ka bisimilla e député bungo san kono o kola doron anin député ol kaño kon don dinga ni ñoo kon don do kola e sa bisimilla e député bungo fankono sa enten be wotam moloto ko Tidiane yaay tan la ñam doron angale kan on surwa kan to nim président o dun doron de fenkela fo ka mayko tout ni ko mayko fu don be kono to be siladi la walla pour on si président o dia mo ñinta hade bi don kala kilo bulandi ñi State of the Nation address akake député bungola do ko la damu toti mi yalon ko wala mu e ka fay opening of the new parliamentary session ka wala dayele nin ko hade bi don kay tan dir fanake kata ko la min yalon ko man sakunda wala ke santam bilala adin sangol min binala wala ñinan sangola gannabe banna yiri wal mi yalon ko wala ferol belaring ko waliyita adin ku ko tan mi yalon ko be den fanko tambe dulala be biminto adon ko jamalu min yalon ko man sakunda kama man wolle to banko dingoliye wolle kayta nyim bengoto ni wala mu nyin State of the Nation address ni amu dorong kumo nyin koto mu wolleti kol be nyala badi ngolu na judiciaire kol fanaje ngal be television jibe kan dorong yela ada parewol ke wala mu la ciosan paroti loyal kamin dung min yalon ko wolle be judiciaire nyin to ministre bi jang badi ngolu man sakunda alfa bi jang député wolu femmanto ko ma be bi jang ko albaje kan television do nyami tambenna banko alfa ko fana be jang ada alifalu alfa jamale ma be jambi bawo nyimmu ben kuma balati banko e sawosan akaketan ne nyinam fanan abelari wona nyama bi aliya député bungoto Banjul ko takado ngal badima Falilou Emel Janko mbe diamo lola jang ka kumoto tu diamo nyoluda wala mo Sidi Bat Sidi bismillah
a jarama Falilou Janko e musidɓe Gambia ha joni rek minen ɗon ɗo banta leydi o woni suudu men député ji ɗo ɗo Banjul e président noon his excellency Adama Barrow tumande o yetti o jaɓɓa o bisna e toon to damal suudu député ji ɗo ko on tuma nde o yimana nde ɓe yimi ɓoggol danegol o salmodiri député ji ɗi goto e goto e mumen o ɓangdi mumen goto e goto e mumen foof noon natalal walla tan portalal e joni noon woni o ɗoftama ha o naati nder suudu men député ji ɗi e yimɓeɓe foof ɓe jooɗi joni ɓe paadi e mawɗo leydi o e ɗo noon yeesoɓe kewɓe kawrti ɗo mina yiya rek yeesojo political party mo GDC Mama Kandeh kamɓe hoore mum mboɗo yo former vice président his excellency Ousainou Dabo woni party leader mo UDP e kamne mboɗo yo chief justice e mboɗo yo yeesoɓe hewɓe guila gouverneur ji umorɓe e tunduli e foof e cabinet ministre ji yeesoɓe diine yeesoɓe aada e député ji ɗi foof liggotoɓe sengo danduru ndu joɗaniɓe leyɗele mumen ɗo leydi Gambia ɗo yo yimɓe hewɓe ay wonɗoɓe sa député ji woni former national assembly members ɓenne hewɓe mumen noon ɓe ɗo ɗo nde ɗo jonde ɗo suudu men député ji ɗo e président noon min andi so ari rek o haalanta yimɓeɓe ko abbitede hitande yawtude rowanin 2024 no laamu ngu liggori guila he cengɗe he foof guila he sengo ndema he yo he damal cellal e damal jangre he e damal courant he e damal awo he yo e damal ɓe tubakoɓe he yo liggey mo laamu ngu waɗi guila he laabi ha he e cuuɗi jangguirɗi e foof yo he sengo courant o foof o haalnaten caɗele mo laamu ngu dañi he nde ɗo hitande yawtude yo programme ji projet aji programme ji ɗi laamu ngu wallini pour ko hedditi ko e nde hitande arande e yo ɓamtare nde ɓe keeɓi yo caɗele laamu ngu dañi e ɗum noon ko loi o yamiri ɗum hitande fof hitande sigo lawol gotol président mo foti tan funtude o arano haalana yimɓe leydi ɓe e ɗum ɗon ko loi o sasi ɗum on ɗon sas waktu noon suudu député ji ɗum heewi teb e yimɓe fof ɓe jooɗi ɓe paadi rek his excellency e président o yetto o ara o haalna yimɓe leydi ɓen ɗumande vice président o his excellency Mohamed Bes Diallo moɗo yo cabinet ministre ji hewɓe e ɗum ɗon foof woni ko hande yimɓeɓe tan jiyata guila télévision aji he yo radio e foof ɗum foof aroyde kibaruji graɗɗi e yo programme ji graɗɗi liggotoɓe damal ñawirgal e woni ñawoɓe jooƴis magistrate ɓen foof ne ɓe jooɗi ɓe ɓorni ɗin ɗon wutteji mum yo mahnali mumen ɗiɓe ñawirta ɗiɓe liggorta maɓɓe foof ɓe jooɗi pour tan tawede e maɓɓe ne ngal ɗon dental yo liggotoɓe sengo ñawirgal e islam ko woni ɓe kaadi ɓenne ɓe hen men e sengo saria o ɓenne ɓe jooɗi e waktu noon fayda joni ko président rek ɗon faada e on tuma so naati rek mina andi speaker o si bisnima ɗum o udditi yewtere nde e duwa waɗama on tuma président o fewnodirata yimɓe leydi ɓe o haalna yimɓe leydi ɓe ko abbiti e programme ji yo projet aji yo sartaji laamu ngu liggorta guila he nde hitande yawtude yo hitande arande nde e ko ɗum woni waktu ko ɗum noon ɓe tolniɗo ɗo ɗo Banjul nde noon nuwa e sa en président o gamiraɓe wole batu kam pour a ɗum konoto na ɗum takkonoto rek aɓe diyamula banque mole bisimilla nuwa
sidi emite kati ko boka safe o hambe jat wonnomde ka sankena jat jayow eno mo mura ko meno his excellency president Adama Barrow nanno ko no ken debul misabe ko diptere ko nya tan lo manya o di speaker konto man konde ka sanken nano son na pullo mi panno di jam di ka sanken kana tumbe tonge dere di man areg man sakundala si programme sankundenu mi pour finki 2025 be 2026 buroka babbajo mi wa kammi wari no di buroka bu neuful er no mi di wono son on ko tumbe kane dépenser on sani inshallah président Barrow pana sankenu tate manju ngona gi jam e dere di bulim sabe ko diptere ko ni mun rego meno ano sananga place la kan manje ko non ko ambassadeur kam dere ko ministre aku lu jobede kan manje ko korongon kuni fana ko sojara ko police army tout ko dere ko diptere ko ngam ko ngas junguta soli man ko lakko kan manje ko buña man ko jo ko tate woto lere ka wano sani uli ko baka kane tate munu ngona jukami wono sani ko to bete kane tate waynon ko mi ko kan manje ko president Barrow ate be jo mana ngona isembu kana ko keti mo fete Gambia di broka bana to bete kane tate ni man ko reko meno cila mo fa meti Gambia dula yano sani panu wono joki jar Department of Education, Department of Information, Department of Agriculture wa jupoy tu won manje weno de kapana kete wanye bu kana kete kasontinora ku tu wono san won manje weno wo broka bare bu kanto inshallah president pana jo man na bu kana ke mo feti Gambia man aregi broka bu tembayam bommi bu etebe ban eno yo kankan manje sulu simo fesi Gambia sirego emitano sani wan ko mi constitution requirement manna ngona juo beri mo famu lu sabi ko diptere ko kammo jat ne sembu kana ke mo feti Gambia waaw wonde jaw bu war ne plana sina nene pour be ko ngolen karambe mo famu mamole mu jow e jaari fakile tato no mami jato non de ko wayno president baro man pour di tan americal misaku man speaker awale no kammo jat di ko ngolen ko pour o de speaker manna ngona sanken di mo famu wana baje haji sumbundu upumu be babe kammo jato ni ngo ni seni wi sembu kana kan manje ko non ko pale ko sarakulen manko ngolen ko mañ wa ko baje woto haji sumbundu tu mu kana mu di aw mom
King and His Excellency President of the Republic of the Gambia warni sasa kunu way kene garangati député kompenga way député kompeke no gondi oga député kompendi brambe jamangu men kinye awarni na kalimanu kini kengani state of nation address ngarni kalimanu kini warni mare masuna soye nyakama ti député kompeke sasa kun ken nogondi wadni jamangu men bagari magara kono dangani 2024 sina dangi doku gollube no gadda bari angondanti ado hammi ngani kubenwa oga kata 2025k ogara ajongarunga kata nyemeranga bari kusu gollube no gatere angondanti anya foy gollu yurwa en chabu jamane ke kana daga e angondanti jamanu ko fannanu gabe am paraki bari kenjudi imogosu ko tampini gonu kitenia ma adina kun kacca domea do hero be nugi maka angadu nandiga katnu kun ko tampino kana kutnu mobe khaga to mobe hakka danginte ke watni o ma la nyaga lantari ti kadi fitnanu be no kuti jaman qoru tananwa angadu nando hajun kinyene yo kenga bakka kun jamanwa nandaga warati watube no angadu nanti bogu jaman qoru tananwa kunju hankembana kinyoy watni menu makinyoy hango nyankinyoy kunju ko tampino wona angadu nandaga kisika seliti o economy empinu daga kanendi bar hari kenga wadni angana jamangu mekita angatu nanti kebe gari nantiti jamane le munye angadu serengana ibane simmana ado gara jamane cimma anta bana ken no gondi jamane cimma nyandanya figa be dabari angadu nanti gollube nuga tawe nanda barti jamanu kuy jamane nyimme na mu nanti jamane nyani fananu filiade angadu nanti kenga tuwa gundo yonkin cha hampinu fannanga bari fobe gane fompi hananga kenni tuwa gunye tuwa ngana kita nono katu gollini ona feron chagundi Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala no dema bire mo nanondi tuwa ngana kita ona feron chagundi ona wakile Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala no dema angatu nanti oga gollini finu kamma kebe ga katno o jamane yurwani ni ken no gondi jamangu men dara kum fanno hilli hamme yonkin ci hampo laqe ado hibe gargadi tuwa gompilo kenga angana jamane kedi sasa free education yani kenga tuwa go butudu sundara atukandenga yonkin ci hampo lanka jare kanun kinye dingranwa do ga jari ka qorobe no siginini jamane ke no gonni ona sampulu ngututi farato jari ka ke nan daga warati ton table ke jari ka ke do jari kanu tanano be no igadi tallan yurwani ni haraku tumanna jari kanu angatu nanti killu ko kitam access iga katnu gilli kantora mo be nan likinya basay kunti nyo kotam pinu nye bar jari kanu nyen cibatti kun killu so lenki andaga on daga ti fannu be no gago serebe no ga gilliti wulli nyenga debo be nuga ko baja kunda kam mun no ko nuga ko fode kundano kumbi daga access kita killi surunga bina mena le jare kan no kunju ñu ko tampine bar lenki jamanun tokkime ti sahampinun jidi jamanun tokkime ti daga na lien jidi jaganen tokkime ti jagunden do safari empinunga ano nindengo odangani wodni anyana mileage buchinano naka bari bile moko be ga iran kunne amena bolongen kano gonni ken gondi wodni ona ke mfanna ti député kompeke andadalana hakadsu jamangume ngana tawrangutu mai medo microphone ngari taw birambe magara kalimanu yogono bangandi harama gunda diga katno famiye kitta ken mo be ngara ko gara mo be do gol nyalle mu ngayre kebe gani nuha baji sidiba tijan jan kendo falil emel janko kengani seneto nan warati abdou sonko kunyani technical pannanga kada kamare me kengani haji sumuno watni o microphone ke sagani ni gollunga duda ngani fofo ga tawere mo gara banganda gara ngani watna gara assalamu alaikum.
Well, thank you very much, Haji Sumbundu. Well, we remind you that you're still listening to the Gambia Radio and Television Services. That is, if you tune into Grts 106.7. And for those following us on the television, we are still waiting for the President to enter the National Assembly chambers. And once that is done, then he will kickstart his address of the nation 2025. But meanwhile, I can see and acknowledge the presence of the opposition leaders. Honorable Usainu Dabo, the UDP leader, is in the House. Honorable Mama Kande of the GDC and Ahmed Maifati as well. Well, these are some of the notable opposition leaders I have seen. There could be some others, but once the camera pick them, we'll equally acknowledge their presence. And Falilu Janko, like I mentioned, now we are all waiting for the president. Well, if you could recall, like if you could go back to memory lane, last year, the State of the Nation address, we've seen the president depart from the traditional sector by sector presentation. And what happened as of last year was he thematized, the speech around the productive and social, sector respectively. That is not something that we normally see the president doing, and for all the previous years, it's just it is sector by sector presentation, except as of last year when he thematized the whole, presentation. Although it was really precise, but at the same time it gave a clear picture of the nation's development trend. So this year, what format the presentation is going to take, we're yet to know, but we hope he's going to maintain the status quo. And as of last year, equally, he dealt with, the Gambia foreign policy context, and, he gave an update on the Gambia's economy. And as of 2023, the Gambia's economy, has, it has improved significantly. In fact, it surpassed the projected growth rate for sub-Saharan Africa, because as of 2023, our economy made significant growth, 5.3. That was as a result of so many financial, reforms that have been done, some other, financial aid grants that we received, and a couple of factors that resulted to that increase of 5.3 of our economy. He also talked about the developments that happened in the agriculture and natural resources sector, and the fisheries and water resources, the development that has happened, and also he revealed the construction of a deep sea port at Sanyang. All those were part of the highlights for last year, and other range of issues, transport works, the Hakelang roads, and the roads networks that we are currently going on. And at this time, I think the president is about to enter the National Assembly chambers, because I can see the Chief of Protocol leading the way, and followed by the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, and other officials. Well, the Speaker is already seated, and as you see, the President walking majestically, presidentially. I like that one. Thank you, Fali Lumbake. Heading to the podium where he will deliver the State of the Nation Address 2025. kon mbokk yi fii la ñu tollu jamono ji nag njiiti réew mi dugg na sin comme ni ngeen koy gisee nii dina dem nag ci table bi nga xam ne moom la ñu ko jagleel ndax foofu la muy taxaw gaaral ay kàddu fii ci néegi député yi lu jëmee nag ci liggéey bi nga xam ne nguuram def nañu ko jàppa atum 2024 moo tax nag kilifa yëpp jóg taxaw màggal ko luñ naan standing ovation nga xam ne ñëpp dañuy jóg ba njiiti réew mi jël toogaayam bu boobaa nag ñëpp dinañu delluwaat toog ñu déglu ko ki nga xam ne moom mooy His Excellency président Adama Barrow comme niñ ko aadoo di gis bu bés ni ki tey jotee mooy dinañu ko déglu te jamono ji na foog naa dañuy ñaan
Almighty God, who in thy wisdom and goodness has appointed the offices of rulers and parliament for the welfare of society and just government of men, we beseech thee to behold with thy abundant favor us thy servants, whom thou hast been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in this land. Let thy blessing descend upon us here in this house assembled. Grant us that we may treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner, to promote thy honor and glory, to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of this country, and of those whose interests thou hast committed to our charge. Amen.
Well, now
communication from the chair.
this is how event at the National Assembly is unfolding. CD dafa mel ni rek lu ñu
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia,
fu doomi réew mi nekk
Mr. Adama Barrow,
biti réew ci biir réew
my Lord,
jiiti réew mi la ñuy déglu waaye ba léegi nag speaker dafay continuer di wax.
the Chief Justice of the Gambia and Justices of the Superior Courts, honorable members, let me recognize also His Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of the Gambia, former Vice Presidents of the Republic of the Gambia, former Deputy Speakers of the National Assembly, Honorable Deputy Speaker and all honorable members of this august Assembly, honorable Cabinet Ministers here in present, former members of the National Assembly, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, Secretary General and Head of the Civil Service, Chief of Staff of the Office of the President, regional governors, Lord Mayors and chairpersons of area councils, service chiefs, leaders of political parties, senior government officials, vulnerable religious leaders, distinguished invited guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols duly observed. Honorable members, it is with great honor and privilege that I welcome you to this assembly for the 2025 State of the Nation Address to be delivered by His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia, Mr. Adama Barrow, in accordance with Section 77(1) of the 1997 Constitution and Order 24(1) of our standing orders. His Excellency appears here before this assembly today to attend and address a sitting of the National Assembly on the condition of the Gambia, the policies of the government, and the administration of the state for the 2025 legislative year. Honorable members, we gathered as a nation to witness a significant milestone in our democratic journey, the President's State of the Nation Address. This occasion stands as one of the most important in our constitutional and parliamentary calendar. It affords the head of state a vital platform to inform the nation through the elected representatives of the current state of public affairs, the administration of the state, the government's policy direction, and our national development priorities. Your Excellency, your presence here today is testament to your continued commitment to constitutional governance, institutional accountability, and inclusive national dialogue. The State of the Nation Address represents a moment of unity and reflection, where the executive and the legislature come together in pursuit of our shared national vision. Therefore, on behalf of both sides of this August Assembly, I extend a warm welcome to Your Excellency. We are deeply honored by your presence, and we eagerly look forward to your address, which will provide an update on the progress made, the challenges faced, and the aspirations that guide our national agenda. Traditionally, this sitting of the Assembly draws wide national interest, attracting Gambians and friends of the Gambia from all walks of life. Honorable members, as we prepare to listen to this year's address, I urge all of us to do so with the seriousness, respect, and sense of responsibility that this solemn occasion demands. Let the debates and deliberations that would follow be guided by reasoned dialogue, respect for differing opinions, and an unwavering focus on the national interest. With those few remarks, honorable members, on behalf of this honorable assembly, I thank you all for your coming. Clerk, may we proceed?
Motion. State of the Nation Address 2025 by His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia.
Honorable members, I now have the singular honor and privilege to invite His Excellency Mr. Adama Barrow, President of the Republic of the Gambia, to deliver his address. Your Excellency, please.
Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Members of the National Assembly, Your Excellency, the Vice President, Your Worship, the Chief Justice of the Gambia, Excellencies, former Vice Presidents, Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, senior public officials and service chiefs, party leaders, venerable religious leaders, distinguished personalities, ladies and gentlemen. In accordance with the Constitution of the Gambia, I feel profoundly honored and uniquely privileged to deliver the 2025 State of the Nation Address before this esteemed Assembly. This year holds exceptional significance in view of the 60th anniversary of the Gambia's attainment of political independence, a milestone symbolizing 6 decades of sovereignty and collective progress. This Diamond Jubilee reflects the tenacity and values that characterize our nation's journey over the years. During the period, we have learned that charting a stronger, enduring, and brighter future for a nation comes with difficulties and choices to make. Guided by the Recovery-Focused National Development Plan, YIRWA 2023-2027, we have embarked on a strategic course to foster inclusive and sustainable development. As a blueprint, the plan serves to consolidate our gains and accelerate socio-economic transformation across all sectors. Honorable Speaker, to objectively reflect on the performance of my administration during the 2024 calendar year, it is necessary to acknowledge both our achievements and the challenges that confront us. Importantly, however, our commitment to unity, democratic principles, and progressive policies remain unwavering as we strive to enhance the well-being of every Gambian. In this spirit, I present to this august body a summary of the nation's current state of affairs, highlighting the key accomplishments, ongoing challenges, and our strategic priorities for the future. These features in the themes discussed ahead, and I will begin with our international engagements. Diplomacy and international cooperation. Honorable Speaker, the Gambia continues to strengthen its international presence and diplomatic engagements to advance our national interests, enhance global cooperation, and promote peace and development. We remain committed to expanding bilateral and multilateral partnerships, improving diaspora engagement, and ensuring the protection of Gambian citizens wherever they may be. The Gambia's international presence has been magnified by the successful hosting of the 15th OIC Summit in 2024 and my assuming the chairmanship of the organization. Furthermore, the country's eligibility for the UN Secretary General's Peace Building Fund has been renewed for another 5 years. In addition, we have been successfully re-elected to the Human Rights Council and the African Union Peace and Security Council. In the same year, the Kingdom of Morocco opened its embassy in the country to strengthen bilateral relations and cooperation, while the Republic of Cote d'Ivoire established an honorary consulate here. Additionally, over 30 ambassadors and diplomats presented their credentials, signaling increased international interest in engaging with the Gambia. These developments will continue to position the country as a respected and resourceful member of the international community. Honorable Speaker, we proudly maintain our status as the human rights capital of Africa, hosting the Continental Human Rights Institution. Thus, in October last year, we hosted the 84th ordinary session of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, further solidifying our role in regional human rights advocacy. Internationally, the Gambia has steadfastly championed human rights and justice on the global stage. This includes our active involvement in the International Court of Justice on the plight of the Rohingya, the legal struggles of Palestine, and essential climate change actions. Honorable Speaker, as Chairman of the OIC, I express grave concern over the recent escalation of Israel attacks on Iran, resulting in the killing of military and non-military officials. I call for restraint and a return to peace in the region. Dialogue is the ultimate solution to our global concerns, and we must endeavor to pursue it. In January 2025, my government participated in the Universal Periodic Review and presented the country's human rights record before the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva. This marked a significant milestone in reinstating our nation's rightful global standing. Legal and judicial matters. The Ministry of Justice made significant strides in 2024 by reinforcing the rule of law, protecting human rights, and ensuring justice for all. Key achievements in this area include the completion and tabling of the revised draft I am pleased to inform this August Assembly that both the Victims' Reparation Commission and the Anti-Corruption Commission established through legislation passed by this Assembly will commence operations in this legislative year. The criminal divisions secure convictions in numerous cases, while the Sexual and Gender-Based Violence Unit of the Ministry of Justice provided critical legal support and raised public awareness on such matters. The Registrar General's Department has upscaled digitalization efforts and now operates an online marriage registration portal, thus enhancing efficiency and accountability. Despite these successes, challenges remain, particularly in digitalizing our legal processes. We are committed to addressing such gaps through continued reforms, capacity building, and international collaboration. Honorable Speaker, all this reflects my government dedication to fostering a just, transparent, and accountable legal system, and to ensure that the rights of all Gambians are protected and upheld. National security. Honorable Speaker, I submit that we recognize the remarkable transformation of our security and armed forces. Today, they proudly exhibit a respectable degree of professionalism and preparedness, hence honoring their duty to safeguard our independence and territorial integrity. The delegation of our citizens in uniform echoes the resilient spirit of our people. Their commitment to peace and security continues to reinforce national security and safeguard public order. Progressively, the government is strengthening internal security, modernizing our national identity card management and national security infrastructure. The digitalization of our national documents is in progress, and we will soon replace the concession contract for the national ID system. The ID cards will be integrated with the electronic civil registration and vital statistics, passport and other identification databases to create a unified digital ID system that is locally designed, built, operated and managed by our services. This initiative will expand our revenue base, improve national security, enhance service delivery and ensure knowledge transfer and ownership. Honorable Speaker, in collaboration with the Ministry of Works, the Ministry of Interior is reviewing the Motor Traffic Act to introduce appropriate action against road offenders. Meanwhile, plans are underway to install CCTV systems along the OIC highway and other strategic locations. This will be linked to a traffic management center for real-time monitoring and law enforcement. A new highway patrol unit is already in operation to enhance road safety. In addition, modern surveillance equipment worth $38 million is secured from the German government has been installed in strategic locations to reinforce crime prevention. Also, the West African Police Information System is in use to digitize paper-based police records for easier access, sharing, and utilization. Mr. Speaker, while our law enforcement agencies have intensified crime prevention, challenges persist with irregular migration, border security, drug trafficking, and other offenses. I call on the general public to support the security services in their security intelligence gathering, operations, investigation, and prosecution of criminals. Honorable Speaker, a draft Gambia Immigration Department Bill 2023 to enhance border control and management has been submitted for Cabinet review. The proposal aims to update the 1965 Immigration Act and align it with current migration governance procedures. Modern border posts are fully operational at Amdalai, Ker Ayub, and Jiboro, and plans are afoot to build one more on the Soma-Siliti border. Although the Immigration Department and law enforcement agencies have increased patrols and surveillance, they need to deploy modern security technology and intelligence sharing mechanism for improved efficiency. To show the magnitude of the fight against drug abuse and illicit drug trafficking, our drug law enforcement agency recorded over 1,000 cases in 2024 and secured 126 convictions. Honorable Speaker, our resolve to safeguard our territorial integrity is evidenced by the improvement of our soldiers' welfare through their revised terms and conditions of service. The increased provision of modern patrol boats and artillery tanks, the logistical support to enhance military professionalism and prepare our troops for military duties and their participation in international missions have uplifted the image, competence, and performance of the security services. Beyond defense, the Gambia Armed Forces contributes to various areas of national development, such as agricultural engagements, infrastructure development, and disaster response. The Gambia Armed Forces, for example, has launched a 20-hectare rice pilot project at Jahali Pachar to support national food security efforts. They have also established a fully operational poultry farm in Yundum, together with a vibrant vegetable garden that serves the local community. ECOMIC is equally engaged in rendering impressive The growth rate was 5.8% in 2024, with a projection made of 5.9% by December 2025. Inflation dropped significantly from 17.13% in 2023 to 10.2% in 2024. This strong performance was realized through solid growth in financial services, trade, construction, and mining. Supported by a rebound in tourism, private remittances, and official inflows. The domestic foreign exchange market also continued to function smoothly. It is the major source of foreign currency, remained robust and amounted to $775.6 million in 2024. This is almost a 4% increase over the $746.8 million reported in 2023. The central bank continues to hold comfortable levels of international reserves, which stood at $515 million in January 2025. It was sufficient to finance over 4.6 months of prospective import of goods and services. Despite the strong revenue performance in 2024, the overall deficit, including grants, was $6.7 billion, equal to 4.7% of GDP. In parallel, as of December 2024, the national debt to GDP ratio declined to 71.8% from 75.7% in 2023. This is against the 70% debt sustainability threshold. The economic outlook for 2025 and beyond shows even better prospects, with a projected growth rate of 5.9% in 2025 and inflation falling to 9.6% by end 2025 from 17.3% in 2023. Additionally, my government has adopted measures to stabilize basic commodity prices, to lower the cost of living, maintaining a market-driven exchange rate, and implement climate-sensitive policies for a sustainable future. Honorable Speaker, our partners and the Gambian diaspora continue to contribute meaningfully to our national progress. Their support fuels our development endeavors and underscores our collective resilience and enterprise. To accompany these, public financial management reforms remain central to our governance agenda of building a more resilient, competitive, and sustainable economy that would uplift the lives of all Gambians. The revised 2014 Public Finance Act and the Public Procurement Regulations have modernized our financial oversight framework, strengthen efficiency and transparency in public procurement processes, and ensure accountability in financial resource management. The State-owned Enterprise Commission, now active, recently signed a performance contract with NAWEC, further enhancing fiscal discipline and governance across state institutions. Honorable members, while economic growth has remained steady, inflation and the rising cost of living continue to impact household incomes. In response, the government has implemented a salary review for civil servants and social protection programs to alleviate the suffering of low-income earners. Transport and infrastructure development. We are laying the foundation for a stronger, more competitive and prosperous Gambia by building and developing our roads, ports, public transport and the aviation sector. We maintain that infrastructure is a key driver of economic growth and national connectivity. It facilitates mobility, trade and services, thereby fostering prosperity and improving the quality of life for Gambians. Already, we have made significant progress in both urban and rural road development. In 2024, we completed Phase 1 and Phase 2 of 22-kilometer OIC highway and launched Phase 3 as part of the historic Diamond Jubilee celebration. This attractive infrastructure has transformed the face of urban Gambia forever. By the end of the third quarter of 2025, we expect to complete the OIC 50-kilometer urban roads, the Kiang West Roads, and the Nyomi Hakalang Road. Hopefully, a significant portion of the 365-kilometer roads nationwide will be completed by the end of the year. The consensus contract with Albrak Company Limited became effective in February 2025 with the taking over of the port terminal by Alport. This is a joint venture between the Gambia Port Authority, representing the government, and Albrak. Alport Banjul will expand and eventually move its operations to Sanya after completion of the deep sea port terminal construction due to start this year. As part of re-establishing the 2 ferries in service, we await the delivery of 2 new procured green ferries. Private ferry services operated by Nekma Ferry Company will also commence soon on the Banjul-Bara route. This initiative will guarantee reliable, safe and affordable ferry services on this route. Mr. Speaker, as part of efforts to decentralize governance, my government has started the infrastructural work needed to provide a new governor's residence and office complex in the Upper River region, URR. We have a similar plan for the Lower River region, LRR, and the project is due for completion early next year. On air transportation, the Gambia International Airlines recorded a net profit of $14.8 million in 2024. This is its first profitable year in many years. The airline now works with Jivan Investment Solution and Holdings to reintroduce a Gambian national airline and thereby enhance air access to destination Gambia. Energy, Honorable Speaker. The energy sector remains central to our national development objectives for economic growth, industrialization, social modernization, and progress. We have made significant progress in expanding electricity access nationwide. Recent assessments indicate that by end 2025, 90% of Gambians will have access to electricity. In 2024, the country unveiled the first ever utility large-scale solar park of 23 megawatts in Jambur. Furthermore, a tender is underway for an extra 50 megawatt solar plant in Jara Soma, which can be scaled up to 150 megawatts renewable energy. To provide additional support towards universal electricity access, my administration introduced a subsidy program and reduced the cost of electricity meter from $8,500 to $500 within the project covered areas. This facilitated 72,000 new household connections by December 2024. The Cabinet has also approved the splitting of NAWEC into separate water and electricity companies. The strategy is to improve service delivery, ensure accountability, and enhance operation purpose. Petroleum, Mr. Speaker, to regulate the growing mining and mineral sector, the Ministry of Petroleum, Energy and Mines validated quarry regulations in August 2024 and reviewed the Mines and Quarries Act 2005 to align them with new industry developments and best practices. My government will continue prioritizing investments in electricity generation, renewable energy, petroleum exploration, and mineral resource management to ensure sustainable energy security for all Gambians. Mr. Speaker, the search for oil and gas continues. A total of 5 wells were test drilled in the Gambia, 2 of them under my administration. In a partnership of FAR and Petronas, the 2 drilled during my tenure are named Samo 1 well drilled in 2018 and Bambo 1 well drilled in 2021. The drill wells under my administration cost $100 million US. Although the results from both wells are very promising and positive, no discovery was made. The companies exited the Gambia's license after fulfilling their obligations, which were primarily to drill the wells. In 2019, BP was granted the A1 license. They paid the government a $10 million US signature bonus and $30 million penalty for existing without fulfilling their license commitment. It was a result of their policy shift from oil and gas exploration to renewable energy that BP exited the Gambia at the outbreak of the COVID-19 epidemic. For the time being, we are building the necessary institutional and legislative foundation to attract investors in oil and gas exploration in our shores. Trade, industry, and employment. Honorable Speaker, the Minister of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment continues to drive policies and initiatives to strengthen trade, foster private sector development, and create employment opportunities. In this regard, the Gambia Trade Logistic Charter was officially launched in November 2024 to facilitate trade and improve efficiency at various locations. Following this, the Trade Logistics Council was inaugurated on 28 January 2025 to oversee and monitor the implementation of the Charter. With the support of the ECOWAS, a modern Lumo market has been constructed in Wellingaraba, LRR, to enhance cross-border trade. This initiative is part of the Lumo Modernization Program, which aims to build modern market infrastructure to facilitate domestic and regional trade. Honorable Speaker, the Trans-Gambia Corridor Special Economic Zone project is progressing well as part of the wider Prera-Dakar Abuja-Lagos multimodal corridor. The study of this project was done with support from the African Development Bank and ECOWAS. The National Industrial Policy and the GAIPA Act 2015 are now being updated. The objectives are to support industrialization initiative, attract investment, modernize our industrial ecosystem, and promote value-added production to enable private sector growth and expand job creation. To enhance employment opportunities abroad, the government continues to work closely with our bilateral partners in Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Spain, and cruise ship liners to expand our placement quotas while ensuring that our young people have safe and productive employment abroad.
We are laying groundwork for an inclusive and competitive economy to integrate the Gambia into regional and global trade networks. Agriculture and food security. Madam Speaker, agriculture provides livelihoods for the majority of Gambians and plays a crucial role in attaining security,
employment and rural development. As outlined in the Gambia Agricultural Transformation Program 2020-2030, the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Food Security is focusing on increasing rice yields from 2 to 4 metric tons per hectare and maize from 2 to 3 metric tons per hectare. The 2024 cropping season marks significant improvements in agricultural input support for farmers. We registered increases in the provision of fertilizer and certified seeds and increased matching grants for the farmers and youths. To explain further, my administration procured 28,000 metric tons of fertilizer and reduced the price from $2,500 per bag to $1,150 per bag of 50 kilo and 1,100 per bag of 50 kilo bag in the last 2 farming seasons, respectively. In addition to this, through various agricultural projects, the government distributed 8,697 metric tons of fertilizer, over 1,000 metric tons of certified rice seeds, 300 metric tons of certified maize seeds, and 140,000 liters of herbicides to farmers across the country free of charge. Livestock, Mr. Speaker, on livestock production, significant investments was realized in the past year, with about 4,000 small ruminant fattening and breeding schemes implemented nationwide. The Ministry of Agriculture also handed over 5 abattoirs, 5 livestock markets, 7 meat stalls, a mini dairy with 2 collection centers and pasture equipment. We persist in promoting mechanized and land preparation for upland and lowland farming by procuring the required machines. 180 tractors and 20 retrovator boats have been procured for deployment during the 2025-2026 cropping season.
These include introduction of integrated rice boiling and milling machines, irrigation and mechanization of cereal harvesting, easy access to agricultural financing or credit margin grants. By increasing access to finance, mechanization value chain enhancement, and irrigation expansion, we are ensuring that agriculture is a sustainable and profitable sector that boosts the quality of life here, support a higher employment rate, and enhances livelihoods in rural communities.
Fisheries, Honorable Speaker. The fisheries sector is another important source of revenue for the government and food for the population. In 2024, revenue collected from fishing licenses, fines, landing fees, and permits exceeded $142 million, with an additional outstanding $88 million due for collection. To address the primary challenges in the fisheries sector, my administration is conducting a comprehensive review of the fisheries and aquaculture regulations funded by Food and Agriculture Organization. The review will modernize fisheries laws, strengthen enforcement, and combat illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. Through the European Union Sector Support Program, fisheries co-management is being expanded in the North Bank region, NBR, to support 21 oyster harvesting communities. This is to ensure sustainable management of oyster resources and greater economic improvement for coastal communities. Under the same program, 2 additional fish landing platforms are being constructed in Katong and Sanya. To enhance local fishing and support rural fishing communities, the government distributed 20 well-equipped fishing boats in January 2025. Honorable Speaker, we are bent on optimizing opportunities in the fisheries sector through laws, expanded programs, improved aquaculture infrastructure, and strengthen transboundary water cooperation, environment, and climate change. Honorable Speaker, the government remains steadfast in protecting the environment, strengthening climate resilience, and ensuring sustainable natural resource management. Through the robust policy reforms, enhanced disaster preparedness, and expanded conservation programs, we will continue to build a cleaner, greener, and more sustainable society as enshrined in the Banjul Declaration in 1977. To strengthen governance in environmental management, we are advancing key legislative reforms for environmental protection. This includes carbon trading and waste management frameworks. To strengthen all this, in 2024, designated officials were deployed to monitor environmental violations and ensure compliance. Reforestation and biodiversity. The government continues to prioritize reforestation and biodiversity conservation to enhance climate resilience and safeguard natural habitats. Last year, 29 community forests covering an area of 2,591 hectares were brought under government protection. Through the UNESCO network of biosphere reserves, the Gambia's first designated biosphere reserve, the Nyomi Biosphere Reserve, was launched in January 2025. It covers over 196,665 hectares, along with the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Kunta Kinte Island. We are reinforcing the Gambia's global conservation efforts. Honorable Speaker, the impact of floods, deforestation, and environmental degradation continues to threaten food security and livelihoods. Although the National Disaster Risk Management Policy 2024-2033 and sustainable environmental programs are key to mitigating these risks, my administration will pay more attention to constructing better climate resilience infrastructure. Tourism, Honorable Speaker. The tourism sector remains a key catalyst of the Gambia's economic growth, generating employment, foreign exchange earnings, and business opportunities. As a result, my government is resolute in expanding and diversifying the sector through strategic partnerships, infrastructure development, cultural promotion, and capacity building. In 2024, we recorded 227,000 tourist arrivals, representing a 10% increase compared to 2023. This growth reflects marketing efforts, improved international connectivity, and strategic partnerships. These efforts have led to new flights to the Gambia, including those from Scandinavia and Nigeria. The projection for 2025 is a further increase in the number of visitors, and we are on track towards achieving the RFNDP target of 336,787 arrivals by air. Arts and culture. Mr. Speaker, to maintain and build on our competitiveness, attraction and cultural preservation efforts, we have introduced the Janjambure Bicentenary and Kankuram festivals and review the Roots Homecoming and Futampam festivities. In addition to internationalizing Gambian cookery and river cruising, furthermore, we will give more attention to bird watching and wildlife parks. With support from the World Bank, we are determined to complete the eco-tourist resorts and hunting camps nationwide. Honorable Speaker, for the first time, the Gambia has conducted a comprehensive demand and destination assessment of all major tourist sites. 10 key sites have been prioritized for investment. Regarding our national heritage, the Gambia government has submitted the UNESCO Convention of 1954 on the protection of heritage in times of armed.
And thus solidifying the government's commitment to protecting and preserving our national heritage. Mr. Speaker, we also launched the report of the Gambia's Intangible Cultural Heritage, ICH, landscape, and the National ICH Register in November 2024, with support from the Heritage Management Organization.
With the Register of Intangible Cultural Heritage, the tourism sector stands on the edge of having an element of the Gambian heritage nominated for inscription into the UNESCO site safeguarding list of ICH. This could be a remarkable step towards protecting and valorizing the Gambian heritage. Honorable Speaker, my administration is evaluating both the human resource and equipment capabilities for the Gambia Tourism and Hospitality Institute, GTHI. Through the support of the World Bank, to this end, GTHI is expanding student accommodation and providing its students with hands-on training experiences. Besides this, in alignment with market demands, a new curriculum will be developed to GTHI to take care of emerging trends in tourism. Communication and digital economy. Mr. Speaker, the digital economy has become a key driver of national development. It creates employment, improves service delivery, and enhances economic opportunities. So far, the expansion of mobile broadband connectivity has exceeded 60%, and it is steadily progressing towards the national target of 85%. The telecommunication sector contributed 22% of the total tax revenue collected in 2024. The rollout of the Gambia's second subsea cable is ongoing, and it is due for completion in 2026. This initiative will increase bandwidth availability and provide redundancy to the four subsea cable, thus ensuring reliable internet connectivity across the country. Notwithstanding the expanded and ongoing general infrastructure development in various areas of development, like transport efficiency and urban social services, the demand for reliable power, as well as bandwidth and digital access, remains high. The rollout of the second subsea cable and the digital infrastructure project are expected to address these challenges. The National Digital Addressing Initiative reported here before has been completed in Banjul and Kanifing municipality, and it is being rolled out in the West Coast region. As an other initiative to strengthen cybersecurity and digital protection, my government introduced a child and vulnerable groups online protection policy and develop a 2024 cybercrime bill. Honorable Speaker, the restructuring of GAMTEL, GAMCEL, and GAMPOS remain a high priority for my government. In this respect, the World Bank has committed $6.4 million for GAMCEL social plan. This will provide compensation packages for over 700 affected members of staff. It also includes other areas of support for the employees. Efforts are underway to clear a combined tax liability of $787 million owed by GAMTEL and GAMCEL. Addressing these liabilities is necessary to restore the financial stability and market competitiveness of the companies. The Gambia Postal Service Corporation, on the other hand, is digitizing its activities to improve its operational efficiency and financial performance. The corporation is working on deploying a SIM-skin mobile wallet technology that will enable users to send and receive money without using the internet. This technology will enhance financial inclusion, especially for the rural population. With these initiatives, we will continue to pursue an inclusive and technology-driven economy that benefits all Gambians. Media and broadcasting. Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Information plays the vital role of ensuring transparency, public engagement, and access to timely and accurate information to enhance public understanding of government policies and programs. The Ministry launched several key communication initiatives last year. Among them is the Mansakunda Ministerial Town Hall, a bi-weekly public engagement program that creates direct interaction between the public and government ministries. For the purpose of enhancing transparency and access to information, the Ministry, in partnership with Freedom House and other stakeholders, developed and validated the Consolidated Access to Information ATI implementation roadmap in 2024. The roadmap outlines roles, responsibilities, and timeline for full enforcement of the ATI Act. This year, the government will pursue the amendment of the Grts Act and expand the digital terrestrial television towards full transition from analog to digital broadcasting. I also this August Assembly that the government remains fully committed to strengthening press freedom, expanding access to government information, and modernizing public broadcasting services, infrastructure, and human capital development. In pursuit of sustainable development on a grand scale, our administration prioritizes infrastructural development that guarantees equitable access to education, healthcare, universal access to electricity, and safe, reliable transportation for our people. This far, we have paved about 910 kilometers of roads and expanded our power grid, aiming to ensure that electricity reaches every Gambian home by the end of 2025. These infrastructure advancements are complemented by impressive progress in education, as seen in our revamped schools and increasing enrollment rates. Honorable Speaker, it is worth noting that 424 new schools have been built, accompanied by 6,400 new classrooms. Those providing learning space to accommodate the increasing number of Gambian children. Consequently, our education sector has experienced significant advances, with gross enrollment rates rising to 102.8% at the lower basic level, 77.6% at the upper basic level, 55.9% at the secondary education level. The statistics highlights our steadfast dedication to removing obstacles enhancing access to quality education, and fostering opportunities for every Gambian child to excel. At the upper level of our training and skills development program, during the year under review, my government made significant progress in expanding higher education infrastructure to meet the growing demand for tertiary education and skills training. The University of the Gambia schools, Faraba Banta faculties, and the campus are providing a conducive learning environment for students. I am glad to report that it is attracting students from the regions as education tourism. Construction work of the University of Science and Technology campus in Brikama and a multipurpose technical and vocational education and training Tibet Center in Wasu is ongoing. These interventions are aimed at expanding technical and engineering education in the Gambia. The transformation of Gambia College into the University of Education and the Management Development Institute into the Civil Service University is expected to improve teacher training programs, public service delivery, and governance, respectively. Further still, my government is establishing specialized training centers of excellence to equip the youth with practical expertise in agriculture, in SAPU, and Fisheries Center of Excellence in Tujereng to enhance their employment and employability. Through sustained investment, policy reforms, and innovative education programs, we will continue to empower Gambian students and our youth with the knowledge and skills they need to compete and succeed. Healthcare. Honorable Speaker, the government will continue to build a resilient and inclusive healthcare system that ensures quality care for all Gambians. Our investment in Farato General Hospital, the rollout of the National Health Insurance Scheme to 13 public health facilities nationwide is reducing financial barriers to healthcare. The construction of the National Emergency Treatment, Blood Transfusion, Diagnostics and Imaging Centers, as well as the Food and Drug Quality Control Laboratory around the Bruceby roundabout is nearing completion. These, together with the ongoing construction of 6 new health facilities in various parts of the country and the expansion and refurbishment of both Birkamamba Health Center and Biam Hospital, will certainly ensure improved healthcare outcomes. Meanwhile, 5 X-ray machines have been installed and in use in our regional hospitals. 11 laboratories are now solar-powered, and 1,100 household latrines have been constructed across the country to improve sanitation and hygiene. We are also building a new warehouse for drugs and a medical supply storage to improve the availability and distribution of essential medicines. To further enhance reliable transportation and service delivery, particularly in the rural area, we have procured 32 new ambulances, 7 trucks, and 61 motorbikes to replace the aging fleets of vehicles and improve emergency response time. Over the years, there have been significant improvements in healthcare infrastructure development, medical equipment provision, and national health insurance coverage. Nonetheless, access to specialized care and the shortage of healthcare personnel remain areas for further investment. All our healthcare reforms are meant to build a resilient and inclusive healthcare system that guarantees quality care for all Gambians. To realize this, I urge the health sector to reform our drug chain management and regulation for ready availability of reliable and safer quality drugs. On employment and poverty reduction, Honorable Speaker, equally important is our resolve to reduce the incidence of unemployment and poverty. Initiatives such as the recently launched Skills Innovation and Entrepreneurship SIE Fund, with an initial allocation of $396 million. The Women Enterprise Fund and the GAIPA Agriculture Investment Initiative now play a pivotal function in empowering our youth and women by providing them with skills and greater opportunities to prosper. We acknowledge the challenges before us, particularly those facing the youth seeking opportunities abroad. We assure them that pathways to success are continually being created for them at home through safe and official migration pathways. Gender, children, and social welfare. Honorable Speaker, the empowerment of women, protection of children, and social welfare are essential for a prosperous society. Through policies, economic programs, and social protection initiatives, we are ensuring that women, children, persons with disabilities, and vulnerable communities have equal opportunities and support systems to improve their lives. We will continue to make significant strides in promoting gender equality and women empowerment. In the area of gender-based violence, child protection, and people living with disabilities continue to be a priority for my government. But this required more awareness, legal enforcement, and victim support systems. To succeed, in November 2024, the National Gender Policy 2025-2034 and Action Plan 2025-2030 were launched. The policy serves as the framework for coordinating and harmonizing gender mainstreaming efforts across the country. Because women's participation in economic activities is vital for national development, my administration has expanded financial inclusion and access to resources for female entrepreneurs. Between June and December 2024, for example, the sum of $15.88 million was disbursed by the Women Enterprise Fund to support 138 women groups across the country. 26.3% of the amount disbursed was successfully recovered during the period. Honorable Speaker, the government continues to implement critical interventions to combat malnutrition, promote food security, and enhance social welfare. The National Social Protection Act 2024, for instance, has established a centralized social protection fund to finance initiatives across the 5 areas of the National Social Protection Policy 2015-2025. This has been operationalized in the 2025 budget and will be used to expand the government-funded initiative of mainstreaming social assistance to vulnerable households through the Family Strengthening Program. The program supports vulnerable persons such as orphans, the elderly, female-headed households, and people living with disabilities. In 2024, under the Gambia Resilience, Inclusion, Skills, and Equity Rise project, $31 million was allocated to the NAFA Cash Transfer Program. The program will add 20,000 more beneficiaries to the existing 16,699 beneficiaries. On disability support, $500,000 was allocated to the National Disability Advisory Council. Institutional support of $1 million was also provided to the Gambia Federation of the Disabled and 10 organizations of persons with disabilities to support disability programming in government and civil society. There will be an additional 3,000 beneficiaries to the existing 2,011 individuals, raising the beneficiaries to 5,011 persons. The program continues to progress by the year. Honorable Speaker, it is gratifying to mention that the Gambia is now one of the first countries to complete a census approach social registry on the continent. Consequently, the National Social Protection Agency is transforming social assistance in the country through a data-driven approach to target potential beneficiaries. More than 10 programs across MDAs, UN agencies, and NGOs have utilized the data to support individuals and households. The government is building the structures to ensure that we leave no one behind. Youth welfare. Mr. Speaker, my government will continue investing in youth advancement so that young people can participate maximally in national development and experience a vibrant ecosystem that caters for their development needs. In August 2023, I launched the pilot phase of the National Youth Service graduate program implemented in collaboration with the University of the Gambia. The program equips and prepares young university graduates for the job market. Today, I am pleased to announce that so far, 88 youths have completed their national service program. While the NYSS will maintain recruiting young people for the apprenticeship training program, the Gambia Songhai Initiative will equally continue training young persons on integrated farming systems with less environmental impact. Alongside these developments, a national youth service for university graduates has commenced with 100 UTG students placed in various institutions as part of their civic responsibility to the nation. 200 senior school graduates are also undergoing a 2-year technical and vocational education and training, fully funded by the government. Other ongoing training plans are in place to make this national service mandatory. On entrepreneurship training and access to startup grants and loans for young people, NEDI has over 1,000 young people, among who are backway returnees. Some of the trainees were provided with grants to set up or scale up their businesses. In a similar development, NEDI has opened 2 business formalization centers, one in Soma to serve the North Bank and Lower River regions, and other in Basse to serve the Central and Upper River regions. This year, NEDI will maintain direct support to about 50 young entrepreneurs through business grants and loans. Sports. To put it briefly, it is reassuring that our athletes are keenly participating in various international competitions and are doing well in many respects. On infrastructure development, the Ministry of Youth and Sport recently opened the Farafenye Youth Center after a major rehabilitation exercise. In addition, the Serekunda Mboyo field is being transformed into a standard mini stadium to host various sporting activities. Our determination to provide more facilities around the country has led to ongoing discussions to build a second national stadium in Lamin. In the interim, the upgrading of the Independence Stadium to meet CAF standards is in its final phase. The remaining works are to do with tracks and around the main ball. Mr. Speaker, on 21st January of this year, the Gambia successfully hosted the Interregional African Ministerial Meeting on Anti-Doping in Sport. That significant event brought together ministers, experts, and key stakeholders from across Africa and international organizations to discuss effective strategies to combat doping, ensure fairness, and protect the integrity of athletes. Hosting such a high-level political platform demonstrates my government's readiness to lead this agenda. Our position is grounded in the ethical values of sports and our commitment to strengthening partnerships and networking with bilateral and multilateral bodies. On the legislative framework, on the legislative front, the National Sport Policy 2024-2034 has been adopted to enhance sport governance and athletics development. The Ministry has also formulated the Gambia's new sports bill and youth bill and will amend the PIA, NYSS, and NEDI Act. The bills will be submitted to the National Assembly for better regulations of the sport and youth sector and for better performance. Lands and regional administration. Mr. Speaker, land governance and local administration remain critical to national development and social stability. For the first time in the Gambia's history, my government is developing a national land policy under the West African Coastal Area WACA project. A key component of this policy is the establishment of a digital land information system that will integrate specific parcel data with ownership records. The objective is to ascertain secure land tenure and simplify land ownership procedures. In a related development, a new real estate regulation is being designed to address challenges such as unclear property ownership, unregulated land sales, fraudulent transactions, and weak enforcement of property laws leading to disputes. I am optimistic that the work on the first draft of the real estate regulation will be completed this year. That aside, a multi-sectoral task force was established on 4 July 2024 to investigate illegal land transactions and violations in government layouts, revised land, wetland, and along the Abuko bypass road corridor. We look forward to the report to guarantee transparency in land governance. As we strive to address housing challenges and improve living standards, my administration remains steadfast in promoting transparency, land governance, and strengthening local government structures through fair and transparent initiatives. Public service management. Mr. Speaker, a well-functioning civil service is fundamental to national development. Hence, my government is working diligently to ascertain that the public sector operates efficiently, delivers quality services, and supports national growth. As part of the Civil Service Reform Program 2018, the administration has prioritized efficiency and effectiveness in the public sector. Consequently, last year, the government conducted a comprehensive salary and allowance review for government employees. This led to a significant pay rise for all civil servants in government effective January 2025. Among other issues, the review was to make sure that salaries keep pace with inflation and the rising cost of living, to strengthen payroll integrity and workforce management for accountability and financial prudence in government institutions. Several payroll integrity measures have been introduced. One of them is the successful staff audit for the entire civil service conducted to identify and stop wrongful salary payments. This aside, payroll-based electronic time attendance machines are being installed to prevent absence at work and unlawful salary payments. Salaries of absentee employees have been stopped, and relevant financial institutions asked to return all wrongful payments to government. Honorable Speaker, my administration is working hard to maintain a professional, efficient, accountable, and motivated civil service that upholds integrity and delivers quality services. We recognize the need for further stabilizing measures to elevate the welfare of the hard-working personnel in the public sector, and will pursue this with vigor. Partnerships. Mr. Speaker, we recognize the invaluable role of bilateral and multilateral institutions, donor agencies, foreign governments, and development partners in advancing our national agenda. On behalf of the Gambian people, I extend our deepest gratitude to all of them. The diaspora Gambians, remittances and investments significantly contribute to the country's economic stability and growth. They have definitely reinforced their position as an integral part of our socio-economic progress, and we thank them. The Gambia remains committed to maintaining these partnerships as we work towards sustainable and inclusive national development. So, with deep appreciation, I extend a renewed hand of collaboration to all our development partners. Concluding remarks, Honorable Speaker, Honorable National Assembly members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, my address has shed light on the journey we have collectively embarked upon for reflection, inspiration, and redelegation to our dear nation. It borders on various development dimensions, ranging from our ever-growing international engagements and economic growth to our resounding governance reforms. The imposing new road infrastructure across the country and other numerous life-changing social welfare enhancement initiatives, for instance, demonstrate that the Gambia is on a far-reaching progressive path. This has been made possible through our national development plans, with the objectives and strategies of the current National Development Plan YIRWA, paving the way for the realization of our national vision. Honorable National Assembly members, my government has exhibited, through concrete action, the political will to realize our development policies and programs. National plans and programs, however, require national execution for national results. Our citizens and sectors have a role to play for everyone to reap the benefits. We need our development partners to complement our efforts, but the transformation of our communities and progress of the nation are principally our responsibility. There is no magic formula for national development. In unity lies our strength and success. Conversely, this unity exposes us to obstacles and troubles. During our Diamond Jubilee celebration, my government re-echoed its calls for solidarity because our defense, our survival, and advancement depend on it. We cannot change our land area, but we can harness and transform social, economic, and environmental factors for us to evolve out of poverty and underdevelopment. Our degree of success depends on how closely and productively we work and how determined we are to translate our vision into tangible results. Together, we must look far beyond the present to scale up industrial production, attract massive investment, and step out of the usual to innovate and take a giant leap into the future. To succeed, we must aim much higher, act much faster, and act together. With my government's current political will and enthusiasm to work, coupled with the willingness of our development partners to support us, and the huge potential of our citizens, our capacity to fast-track the execution of our development agenda is enormous. As a developing country, transforming its institutions to sustain democracy, we have demonstrated our ability to engage in peaceful politics, despite our divergent views. The spirit is that when the interest of the country is at stake, we must always stand together. Distinguished members, our international standing and ranking indicates a keener international focus on the country. My administration is strongly determined, therefore, to make the Gambia a shining example of a flourishing small state on the African continent. To this end, I call upon all Gambians to remain steadfast in our collective mission to build a better nation. Let us work together across all odds and social divides to initiate success, embrace inclusivity, and nurture the youth. I urge further that we safeguard our democracy, uphold our values, and protect the dignity of all Gambians. The Gambia now stands out as a land of optimism, resilience, and opportunity. As we move forward, my government will focus devotedly on policies and programs that will lead to economic self-sufficiency and rapid development. The state of the infrastructure has the potential to sustain this. With tolerance, social inclusion, sustainable development, and fortitude, we will surely succeed in building a prosperous Gambia for all. I express sincere gratitude to the security forces, including ECOMIC, for reaching out to the people, in addition to executing their routine work. I equally thank all public servants, the private sector, civil society organizations, and all public institutions for your cooperation and service to the nation. Sincerely, I salute our women and youth for their positive involvement in building a peaceful and prosperous Gambia. To all the vulnerable members of our society, I reaffirm our unwavering commitment to your empowerment and encourage you to stand and be seen and heard. Given the need to recognize the basic rights of these minority groups as Gambian citizens, I advise that we allow them more space to participate in all social, economic, and political processes. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of this august assembly, I thank you sincerely for your cooperation over the years. Together with the judiciary, I advocate that we collaborate more closely in the interest of the people we collectively and passionately seek to serve. I urge this august body further to rise above party politics and put the Gambia first. We are accountable to the people who put their trust in us to manage the affairs of the nation. The institutions through which we serve them define our various mandates. Thus, I plead that we aim higher to advance our governance processes, administration, and monitoring strategies. With faith, perseverance, and a shared vision, we will successfully drive the Gambia forward into a future of prosperity and peace. I invite all Gambians, partners and friends to join us in this regard. Ladies and gentlemen, I am thankful to every citizen and resident in the country for the peace and stability we enjoy. Finally, I thank everyone present for your attendance and attention. May God continue to bless the Gambia and bless us all. I thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Honorable members, any seconder to the motion? Honorable Member for Kantora and Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, I rise to second the motion being moved by His Excellency the President. And also in the same vein, to thank him equally for the fulfillment of Section 77 of our Constitution, and to assure the general public that the statement delivered here today is a clear testament that the Gambia is in the right trajectory, both in development and in good governance. Therefore, we will stand resolute to stand by His Excellency with the campaign slogan, His Excellency Putambaro for continuity. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Kantora and Majority Leader. Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that this August Assembly do consider the motion on the State of the Nation Address 2025 delivered by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Honorable members, the consideration and debate proper on the motion will be adjourned until Monday, 23rd June 2025, to allow honorable members ample time to study and reflect on the contents of the address. On that day, honorable members, the Vice President and Cabinet Ministers are expected to be present to witness and participate in the debate on the State of the Nation Address. Before adjourning, honorable members, permit me, on behalf of both sides of this August Assembly, and indeed on my own behalf, to extend our sincere appreciation to His Excellency, the President of the Republic, for his well-delivered State of the Nation address. Indeed, while it is a constitutional duty, it is one that His Excellency has once again fulfilled with grace, clarity, and candor. The address has provided a comprehensive overview of the condition of the Gambia, the policies of government, and the administration of the state as stipulated under this Constitution. It has also offered us a timely opportunity to reflect deeply on the progress we have made, the challenges we continue to face, and the urgent need to foster national unity, peace, and stability, all essential pillars for achieving our national development goals and aspirations. As elected representatives of the people, we are entrusted with the solemn responsibility to ensure that the policies and programs outlined in the President's address are scrutinized and debated with diligence, objectivity, and patriotism. It is imperative that we gain a clear and full understanding of the government's development agenda, as this will empower the National Assembly and its committees to effectively execute their legislative oversight and their representative functions. Your Excellency, on a separate note, allow me, in my capacity as Speaker of the National Assembly of the Gambia and the President of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, CPA Africa Region, to officially inform this chamber and the nation that the Gambia will host the 54th Annual General Meeting of the CPA Africa Region from the 10th to the 16th of August 2025. This historic occasion marks the first time our country will host this prestigious parliamentary gathering. We look forward to welcoming speakers, members of parliament, clerks, and officials from across the African continent under the shared banner of unity, democracy, and parliamentary development. It will be a proud and transformative moment for our legislature and our nation. Finally, Mr. President, I thank you once again for honoring this Assembly with your address. In the same spirit, I extend gratitude to His Excellency, the Vice President, my Lord, the Chief Justice, and Honorable Justices of the Superior Courts, Honorable Cabinet Ministers, Honorable Members of the Assembly, and all distinguished invited guests for their presence at this important event in our parliamentary calendar. On behalf of both sides of the Assembly, I also wish to register our heartfelt appreciation to all Gambians for their continued support and collaboration in our collective pursuit of nation building. A special word of thanks goes to the Office of the Clerk, the task force, and all staff and stakeholders who have in their various ways contributed immensely to the success of today's event. Honorable members, upon putting the question, I kindly request all guests to remain seated to allow His Excellency the President to take his leave of the chambers, to be followed by the Vice President, Cabinet Ministers, and other dignitaries. On that note, honorable members, I now put the question. Be it resolved that this August Assembly do stand adjourned until Monday, 23rd June 2025 at 10 a.m. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. This Assembly now stands adjourned until Monday, 25th June 2025 at 10 a.m. prompt.
Well, thank you very much. We have now come to the very end of the State of the Nation address by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia. And now he's shaking hands with some dignitaries, including both former Vice President of the Gambia, Honorable Ousainou Dabo, and Honorable Aissatou Toure. And as usual, this is a beautiful gesture that the President has to step down in order to honor and acknowledge the presence of two former Vice Presidents who were at the National Assembly to grace this occasion. Well, as protocol demands, they have to allow the President to leave, including the Vice President, and of course the Cabinet Ministers will leave before the rest of the invited guests and MPs will follow suit. Then so far so good. Our esteemed viewers, we have heard His Excellency the President in his 2025 keynote address to the National Assembly and also to Gambians home and abroad. The President talks about series of his government priorities, programs and projects, and the achievements registered in almost all the sectors in 2024, and also dealt with the challenges as well and the way forward. Janko Nintembola afele nata bengo kumfadula benga mwele banko nyaton ko mimfo sa thank you very much. That's good. Honorable Musa Suso, good to have you here. Between Janko ba cool fela be laring wala nyama nata kungo kumfadula le benga mwele banko nyaton ko mimfo sa imbe bulala drum ifana
abaraka bake Tijan bari la mola lu kala gel blande ko Grts radio television wala radio and television o albo la wakan drum State of the Nation address mi ala ko president be wala kekan la ko le ke sawsan ñum constitution la karin kulati mi yalon ko president asikenya nyang sanko la sinya kelin asna député bo ñat la ka banko la yiri walu tembe dulalu anen fanko tembe dula anen ferol be la nya jumal to man sekunda bulu pour ka yiri wala fa banko kan e wala ka biti ngalta dungal jayi alla la burku ñuma kamala ndo ko ñol to ala bidim masodo fo mi be fejang kalten to kal jayi fo na sila ko de hande diamolo jamfandila bawo diam dal be sering ngati jande dungal jayi tijan jane atrebe angale kawno sur account albali ma falilu emel jankon dele bali maneka kanto haji sumbundule sara holoto siri babe fula kanto anen alaji nuwa baji wala bali jola kanto do ko ton mi yalla ko lew masangoto inshallah fo sila kote ala baraka bake
a jarama Falilou Emel Dianko Tidiane Diané musidal yimɓe Gambia ina wayno rek joni pembol ngol yettima hen donge tuma rek nde his excellency président Adama Barrow haalande yimɓe leydi ɓe ko wiyete nation address ko haalande yimɓe leydi ɓe ko abbiti he ɗin ɗon programme ji yo sartaji yo programme ji laamu ngu e ɗeɗo kitale jawtude walla nde hitande yawtude yo ko laamu ngu eɓɓi wadde e nde hitande arande nden o haali ko heewi noon e cenɗe fof gila e sengo ndema e cellal e sengo jangre nde e sengo courant e sengo damal tubakoɓe e sengo danduru e sengo liggagol laabi yo sengo cellal yo sengo courant fof o haali ko abbi on tumane o yettite o salmini o jarni liggotoɓe laamu yo wondiɓe e laamu ngu gila ɗo ha caggal leydi ndi fof ko haali koɗo noon na juuri na yaaji min gaddato ni kibaruji garaɗi e télé yo e radio he nden noon joni tumande o haali ha o paari o yeehi o salmodiri o totti juuɗe e yimɓe ɗiɗo wondoɓe vice président leydi he woni former président Ousseynou Dabo yo former vice président lawyer Ousseynou Dabo yo former vice président Dr Aissat Touré ɓen fof o tottoride e mumen juuɗe o salmodiri e mumen nden noon ko ɗum ganduɗa noon hannde ɗo yo e Banjul ha waktu goɗɗo ko musidɗo mon e Sidi Ba Tidiane Diané Haji Summundu e Nuwa Badji Falilou Emel Dianko Lamine Jaksita Abdou Sonko mi accinoto tan e Nuwa tan
Summundu e Sidi Ba imite kati kamine ko jentunoɗa ko mo kana mo bambam programme ñaata no moñañe ula ko tate président Barrow na sanke na bandi wona to mi broka mo famu di wawujumi di wadonata ɓe kane di broka babba jommi tu na sanke sunde mit skibara sebilo mi fokile jiates pon ko bonyoto tu di skibara manjingona ji jam ko ni makana gundere di angalay tano mañañe na bamban ka sanke na kola simon to la jupo na kane de ka sanke na ko alhamdulillah na bamban woto ol popo giates pour rewutate nu salu bu kana ko tu kan manje ku jolo jaw ko maddi programme ci la haji
no siri alhaji Nuwa Badji Sidi Ba Tidiane Diané Falilou Emel Dianko Abdou Sonko wadni Kenya State of Nation Address Anyemiranga His Excellency President of the Republic of the Gambia agada kalima gi mun domen ko ken nogondi watno sonde mu dome o duwa alla ganda waga kallen ka koyi na jamane ke talna yurwandi na wasenya na kanada genya no mo gundi ko sunno watna kala assalamu alaikum Tidiane Diané.
Thank you very much Haji Summundu kon mbokk yi ñëw nañ fi nga xam ne mooy ci cappaandaw yi programme bi ndax ki nga xam ne mooy njiiti réew gi gaaral na kàddum ci néegi député yi waxtaan ak ñoom waaye waxtaan ak ñi nga xam ne ñooy doomi réew dégg ngeen président ci fànn yu bari ci biir nguur gi yokkute liggéey yi nga xam ne am na ko mbaa def nañu ko depuis nag ci wàllum koom-koom ci mbunti mbay mi bu ci wàllum wérgu yaram gi dem ba ci mbiri li nga xam ne mooy tali yi lii yëpp liggéey bi nga xam ne nguur gi def nañu ko ci atum 2024 ba léegi ñu ngi ci ko am kii nga xam ne moom mooy président Barrow indi na ci ay leeral ci yeneen fànn moo xam lu demee ci jigéen ñi ci wàllum xibaar yi ci mbiri essence bi ak mbiru courant bi yëpp loolu yëpp doonoon na loo xamante ne réewi Gambie am nañu ci ay jéego yu am solo suñu taxawaay si suñu wàllum lii di bitim réew ñu xamee ko ci suñu foreign policy taxawaay nguuri Gambie ci tunda gi ak ci àddina gi yëpp ci jamono joo xamante ne fitna tukkal na fitna daanaka dab na àdduna bi foo dem tey mu doon loo xamante ni tamit njiiti réew gi indi woon na ci ay leeral naam yokkute yëpp am nañu waaye ba léegi am na yenn ci jafe-jafe yi nga xamante ne nag nguur gi ñu koy jànkuwanteel te loolu yi tamit dafa soxla nag ñu dal ci indi ay pexe indi ay liggéey yoo xam ne dinañu ko mun a saafaral ci gàttal daal daanaka lii bokk na ci li nga xam ne njiiti réew mi tey waxtaanee na ko te képp foo xamante doomi réew mi mu nga fa moo xam ñu nekk biir réew ak biti réew ñëpp ñu ngi dénka seeni nopp fi nga xamante ne nag mooy fii ci néegi député bi ndax li nga xam ne moom la président Barrow di gaaral fu mu nekk nii njiiti réew mi dañu koy xaar parce que léegi nag faaw mu tàggatoo si lu bañ a yàgg waaye du ñàkk dina saafuwante ak ñenn ci kilifa yi nga xamante ne nekk ñoo nekk fii ci néegi député yi ndax bu yàggutoon rek gisoon nañu ko moom président mu wàcc dem nag nemmeeku ki nga xamante ne mbaax sax ñoom ñaar bokk na ci kii di honorable Ousainou Darboe mi nga xam ne mooy njiiti United Democratic Party waaye nit la woon koo xamante ne nag musoon naa doon li nga xam ne mooy vice président ñu gis fa tamit docteur Aïssatou Touré njiiti réew mi dem saafu wante ak ñoom balaa moo génn fi nga xamante ne nag mooy ci National Assembly Chambers mu doon nag ab loo xam ne ñu bari nag dañu ko rafetlu te lu mu fa wone rek mooy ak lu mun a xew réew mi ñun ñëpp a ko bokk bu baaxee ñëpp la ko baaxal jamono ji nag dañuy xaarandi rek ki nga xam ne moom mooy njiiti réew mi ndax comme ni ma leen ko waxee dinay am si nit yoo xamante ne nag géej a gisee mooy waral namel te nag faaw rek mu saafu wante ak ñoom balaa moo dellu fi nga xam ne nag moom mooy ca State House kon nag du ñàkk lii nga xamante ne nag moom la njiiti réew mi gaaral si suñu yeneeni programme GRTS dinañ ci indi ay waxtaan dinañ ci indi ay kàngaam yoo xamante ne ñoom tamit seeni xam-xam màcc lool ci li nga xam ne mooy dox yi ni réew ñoom it dinañ ñëw ci rajo bi ak télévision bi ñu xoolaat li nga xam ne moom la njiiti réew mi gaaral ñu def ci li nga xamante ne nag mooy ay jàngat te incha allah si suñ yeneeni programme ci fan yi yëpp boo leen toppee GRTS rek dinañ leen ko indil nu mu gën a leere. Well, we've now come to the very end of the 2025 address to the nation by His Excellency the President, and any moment from now he will take leave and return to Marina Parade number 1. But meanwhile, the President, I'm sure, must be talking to some of the invited guests, some dignitaries, and of course some of his party supporters. Butumbadi ngol ñun tembola mfu nata bengo bandulale bawo sang ate mera drong President Barrow abe bola député bungoto ko falilu ya funu ñamen don ko manto yalon sawo sang loi ye president o sembenti yandele pour ay na député bungoto ñin kamala anin député sekkacha ñin kamala anin banku dingol sekkacha kacha ñi ñaabe tilin na minna waran sa fo ay kacha min ka ñaatilin ta minna wolom 2024 do ko wol min yalon nako president Barrow la man sa kunda yo wolleke ay senyandirol naati wolleto anim fa na ñaato tal min yalon nako ala man sa kunda yo do ko wolleke bi president Barrow fanan ay senyandirol naati wol tole ay bunda jamal ma kad kumasi kabrin na fankola bundato katafo seno e jata kenya nin karango bunda katafo na tanko esansol anin na kuram bundal e sila do ko min yalon nako wolle fanan sotota banko kan ñunu be mo kullati min yalon ko e president Barrow ay senandirol naati jele anim fanan ma sakunda do ko minul keje yirwa do ko minul sotota banko kan ay ñim fanan be fatam fansile aseniata lew e banku dingol aya tinna bi junu karo atili tang anin kononto bi Gambia dingo be dawda fo banko kan nomba fo banko e bantala bi mobe hakilo be mintole wolam député bungoti jang bi mobe ka jamale la moy num wolam banko nyaaton koti katu ngi lafta lonnale a banko do ko tembo be mintole anin ay mine hamen na ko fana soto ka Gambia banko samba nyaato ate fola na programme ol to ñillugol minul be bina GRTS ne programme o ñimba kono fanan dilale nga juber ke fanan ani nga karantal keje president baro ay ñing ko makangol minul fo isaje ko banku ding kotangol surtout minuma angale kango moy ibajale fanam be isa faham kende ke fanan president baro ay minel fo jang butung atemela drong mina saro dila ba felesio meta bari alhamdulillah katu nyimu lunnate mi yalon ko niya jube bankola kalenda to lunkuma balom bawo banko luwa fongo wala kanindiro ke kabo president barobulu waram president wo president kwa doyata nyawnya sango kon hanabe ke la signa kilinnati yafinti député bungoto enim banko dingole kacha wala tinna bilunga akuma yatale bilunga nga jiki fanan ko ku jamal bije man sakundale do ko minul ke abota jamae kumpo tole nam kol ya ko dol fanan soto tale de a president baro e woy tandi bari fana wo nya ako ferel fanan be kelale mimba tinna lano wo kol ya ko aninna natan na ko min yano ko wol man timba mbe wodo ko wol fanan be timbandi lano nyame sainde ngamiram bina saro dilalale bari ngam batu waran kam munyala doman din dong president baro ay finti ay sarota kam burung state house ni woketa dong iba jalale ko sina ka antena murundino GRTS bar nga jiki fanan ning tara na cameramanol anin na program director ni se juber kenye no nyintembola député bungo ni meto president barobe min tole anabe mineke kam fanan ngamira kumayata le mol fanan yo woje ba ngalon no ka mam finti ate député bungo to folo mbe kono to mbe santo bari koku jama ku jamal min katama banta e ko tandin le bari ning asekeno dukare na cameramanol ye juber kenye nyintembola president barobe min tole député bungo nyin kono bawa ngalo na ka mam finti folo andum fanan hadamaya wo buka bayno sako ni nyoje man soneya wato ni bilon bi ñol lungol nata ate bayla dong fo president ni mole nyo konton fani mole kacha ani mole yaye ning ala do ko kum fa kon naka ni ma leen ko waxee rek si lu ñu bañ a yàgg dinañu tàggatoo fii ci néegi député yi bàyyi ko GRTS ndax ki nga xam ne moom mooy njiiti réew mi ma doon ñaan rek suma programme directeur bu fekkee mu ngi maa dégg ñu xoolal ma ci biir néegi député yi fan la njiiti réew mi toll ndax du ñàkk dina nekk di saafu wante ak ñenn ci nit ñoo xamante ne nag ay kilifa lañ waaye dina saafu wante tamit ak nit ñoo xamante dinay faral di gëj a gisee ak ñoom bés ni ki tey nag mu doon ab bés boo xam ne dina ko may jot mu mun a saafu wanteeg ñoom diisoog ñoom waxtaan ak ñoom ba tax na bu fekkee ne daal suma caméraman yi jege nañu ki fi nga xam ne moom foofu la a président nekk ñu mun maa indil nataal yooyu mun maa indil vidéo yooyu ndax yéen mi seytaan yéen i tamit ngeen mun a xam bu fekkee nag loolu mënut a sotti fii laay jaaree rek di tàggatoo di gërëm ñëpp rawatina nag technicien ak caméraman yi nga xamante ne nag tey ñoo jàpp ci liggéey bi di gërëm yi tamit ñi nga xam ne ñoo nekk ci studio si ci MDI Road ak Mile 7 suñ technicien si yëpp ñu ngi leen di gërëm di leen sant caméraman yi ñëpp ñoo xam ne jàpp nañ ci liggéey gi ñu ngi leen di jaajëfal di leen dokkeel ci bés bu am solo bi ak liggéey bu am solo bi nga xam ne moom ngeen def nii butu mbaɗigol ñin tembola do ngalo mbe saro talale mbe tentoni jayro be murundila na technicien ol cameraman ol min yalon ko wolle be ate député bungoto jang anin minul be MDI Road kata fo Mile 7 studios so mbe be bu nyala ye doku nyima ni doku kendol min yalon ko ye woleke e kabring somanda ngalo ne ko dong ate mela President Barrow abe bola nanjam. Well, special thanks to all our viewers wherever you may be. Either you are tuning in to GRTS Radio or you are following proceedings on television. We want to say a special thanks for the time you invest in this program. From me, Tijun Jani, bye-bye. See you next year. That's 2026 State of the Nation address. Au revoir.
Mene nga jël nga séro ko